All right, welcome back to Digital Diets Online. This is Digital Don here, and we're going to talk about one of the more innovative and more in demand than ever before clusters. Information technology. Now guys, if you've been living under a rock, we have made a lot of progress. When it comes to relaying information, my God, we went from, which a lot of you kids don't even know what this is, dial-up to internet, to now being able to use our phones, have it hit via satellites and multiple WAN systems to pretty much get whatever we need. Communication is now endless. We can almost be in the desert, and if there is a cell tower somewhere within the vicinity, we can get some type of message off. So information technology, huge. And this is, and I will say, this is one of the ones with the most growth in it. Now, on the flip, it's one of the hardest. Now, I've said that with other clusters, but this one is a little different. This one is not only one of the most hardest, but it is one of the most competitive. But it's competitive in an interesting sense, which means that there will always be a job for you. But as far as how much money you can potentially make will all depend on how fast you can do it, how pretty much efficiently you can do it, how much money it'll take to do the job. This spans from, of course, hardware, software, which I hope you guys know the difference. If not, we'll have lessons in the summertime where I'll pretty much help you guys with that. Multimedia. If you're good at Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and hopefully those will not be obsolete 10 years from now when you look at this video. All the new social media outlets that pretty much bring people in. If you're able to master even those, people make good, and I mean good money just being on social media, all right? So when it comes to those things, as well as network systems, I have a lot of friends that are in these fields, and let me tell you something, these guys are making insane money. You know why? Because even though that this is the cluster with the most growth, not many people want to dive into this. It's computers. People want to use them. A lot of people don't want to not just make them, but pretty much repair them and so on and so forth. So this is for the nerds, if you want to say. Yeah. You can make fun of us, but we run most of this. Anyway, so when it comes to information technology, it's anything digital, all right? A lot of the kids I've ran across all want to do some type of gaming and blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That sounds fun. But the biggest boom I've seen with this whole domain is app making. Things like that, which I'll be covering in a future career segment of this later. But yeah, man, stuff like applications and creating innovative ways to make your life easier through some type of system is essential, especially in today's America, where technology runs all, man. The days of just kind of sitting around and thinking and all that, even though that I'm a big advocate for having peace of mind and not always having this out, and I'm a tech guy. These days, if you don't have some type of smartphone, if you're not able to type decently, if you're not able to keep in touch with what's going on at the rapid pace that it's going, you're going to get left behind very fast. So, for the kids that are into computers as a whole, the whole digital construct as a whole, this field not only will hire you, but it's in demand in all facets of life. So if you want to get paid to work on computers or work on repairing or making computers, let me tell you something, you will always have a job in information technology, okay? said, folks, you know the drill. Let's take a look at a few virtual videos. They're going to cover virtual notes, and I'm going to let you loose on other careers. So this is your host with the most, all right? No brag or boast. Digital Don here, and let's take a look at a briefing of what this career cluster is all about. Okay. Hey guys, so let's take a look at our first video, which is an old school point of view with a new school attitude. Or I just say a great point of view, all right? So let's take a look at what information technology is all about in another explanation other than mine. Let's take a look.
If you have the mental agility and flexibility to move with a fast-changing industry, the future is bright in information technology services. The world is increasingly dependent on information technology. Hospitals, schools, business, transportation, and government. Every field of endeavor now relies on computers and the people who know how to make the computers work. Depending on the kind of position you take, you might need patience to provide information about something you know a lot about to people who don't understand much beyond their keyboard. They may be frustrated, even frightened, when the computer they depend on isn't functioning the way they expect, and they'll look to you to make it better. On a larger scale, information technology services experts work to develop solutions to challenges in every field, connecting doctors to analytical data, connecting corporations to business records, connecting marketers to a client base. All these and more are part of the burgeoning field of information technology. IT, as the field is called, requires intense training and ongoing education to keep up with the latest developments. Some positions in this field require in-depth training on a particular kind of equipment or software. The one sure thing about the future is that today's equipment and software will be antiques in just a few years, so it will be necessary to get new training on a regular basis. After all, there are not many positions these days for typewriter repair people. A background in science, math, or engineering is good preparation for a career in information technology services. Just enjoying going online or getting good scores on video games isn't enough. You have to be fascinated with the workings behind the screen. A logical and methodical mind combined with creativity could take you far in this expanding field.
All right. So you just heard the briefing on what it takes to get into the tech industry, but at the same time, what is the tech industry? This next video will kind of give you just a briefing on what it somewhat entails, and we'll go from there. Let's take a look.
Hey, I'm Ryan, one of the co-founders at Treehouse, and if you've ever considered building an app or making a website, you are probably wondering, how does this whole world fit together? You know, what do I need to learn? What tools do I need to use? How does it all fit together? So the basic premise is you have mobile apps, you have websites, and you have web apps. And depending on what you want to build, you'll learn different things. So let's say that you're interested in building mobile apps. You know, those are things like Snapchat or Instagram or games. If you want to build a mobile app, then you decide which type of phone or mobile device do you want to use. So do you want to have it available on an iPhone and an iPad or on an Android phone or Android tablet? Once you decide, yep, I want to build an iPhone app, for instance, then you would learn something called iOS. You need a Mac to do that, and then you use a tool that's free, and it's called Xcode. And you make apps using a language called Objective-C. The way you sell those apps is in the App Store. So you upload it to the App Store, and then Apple okays it or doesn't. Hopefully they okay it. And then it goes in the store, and then you can charge real money for that and launch your app that way. The next thing is if you decide, well, I'd rather make an Android app, for a Nexus phone or a Nexus tablet, then you are building for Android. And Android is the operating system of those devices. And the tool that you use is usually something like Eclipse or something new that's going to be launched soon called Android Studio. The actual language that you use to build those apps is called Java. So that is the basic idea of mobile apps. You code in these specific languages, in these specific tools, and then people download your apps in the App Store and they pay for them that way. Now, say instead you would rather build a website. So you want to build a website for your restaurant or for your dad's business or for your school. The tools that you use to build websites are basically a text editor, and then you save your files and then you upload them to the internet. The languages you need to learn are called HTML, CSS, and a little bit of JavaScript. Those are some of the easiest things to learn initially. You don't have to do a lot of programming or a lot of technical things. They're fairly straightforward. So that's how to build a website. Now, say that you want to build a website, but you want people to interact with it. You want them to log in, or you want them to, friend people or like things or create accounts. All those things really turn that website into a web application. Something that you interact with. And examples of that are, things like Facebook. Google Maps is a good example. It's something that's very interactive. So if you want to build something like that, first of all, you pick a language to build it in. And at Treehouse, we guide you down that path, which language you should pick. But your choices are things like Ruby, PHP, Python. There's more, but those are some of the most common ones. And then once you pick a language, then you would also pick a database. And a database is basically a thing that holds all the information in the site. So when you create an account and a password, that is stored in the database. The tools that you use to make web apps are also text-based. So you have a text editor, and then you save your files, and then you upload them to the internet. It's similar to making a website, but you use more powerful languages to make things happen. So we've covered so far mobile apps, websites, and web apps. Now let's talk a little bit more about the types of jobs that you might get in those fields. So all three of those things require three types of people. The first is a designer. The second is a front-end developer, and the third is a developer. I'll briefly talk about what each of those people do. So a designer thinks about the way things look and how they work. And they use tools like Photoshop, Illustrator, various tools like that, and they design it and they make it look great. And then they hand it over to the next person, which is a front-end developer. And a front-end developer is someone who takes that design and then they chop it up and they translate it into code. And they use tools like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, what's happening more and more, though, is designers and front-end developers are becoming the same person. So at Treehouse, we only hire designers that are also front-end developers. So eventually, it really pays off to know both those skills. And then you have back-end developers. So a front-end developer will chop up the design and make it ready, but it won't actually work. You can look at it, but you can't actually log in or you can't actually create an account, that type of thing. So the backend developer takes that and then they wire it up, quote unquote. They connect it to the database. They write code to make the app actually work and function. They are using tools like Ruby, Python, PHP, Java, things like that. So that is the basic overview of how all this fits together. It can be confusing at first, but once you understand that there's these basic buckets, okay, I want to make a mobile app, or I want to make a website, or I want to make a web app. Once you decide which of those three things you want to do, then you can go down a track and learn it. And that's why at Treehouse, we make it very simple to go down a track, and we tell you exactly what you need to know and in what order you need to learn it. So thanks for watching. Hope that clarifies this kind of confusing and overwhelming world of technology into something that is actually pretty straightforward. And we hope that you come and learn with us. Thanks.
Okay, so obviously, within this cluster, there's a lot of new tech that is coming out, but there are some things that you probably had no idea that actually existed. So just for fun, let's actually take a look at some items that you probably had no idea that exist and people use all around the world.
This is our work. We call it Impossible. We have worked on this idea for 3 years. After being folded, it's only 17 inches high. You can easily carry Impossible in your backpack. Even the smaller one, with your laptop and your books. The different appearance and the subversive design makes it out of the ordinary. It's not a bike, it's a revolution. Some bikes are as large as a backpack. Some bikes are a backpack. And the Impossible is the first bike you can put it in the backpack.
All right, I know you guys have heard of Mark Cuban. He is the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, as well as he is a judge on the hit show Shark Tank. But a lot of people don't really realize too, he made his fortune in the tech industry. So let's take a look at his quick briefing advice on what it takes to be successful in the tech industry. Let's take a look.
A lot of people always ask, what's changed, what's changed, what's changed? 99.99%, nothing has changed. It still comes down to effort. What has changed is in the tech industry. In the past, starting a tech business meant, and probably that's past being more than 7 years ago, starting a tech business meant buying servers. It meant buying equipment. It meant buying a lot of software. Making a capital investment to create a company. Now you can start any tech business with a phone, a laptop, a broadband connection, and access to any of the many online hosting companies that can host all this for you. You don't have to buy all the equipment and the servers. And so really, particularly in the tech business, the biggest limitation you have is your creativity, your brain power, and your effort. You know, and the one thing in business you always can control is your effort. So I think, you know, across the board, no matter what type of business, the American dream is alive and well. There's nothing that holds you back more than you. There's nothing that can stop you from starting a company than you. Now, being successful is something different. I think, Again, it hasn't changed that you don't own a business you start. Your customers own the business you start. Your customers own you. And as long as you make those customers happy and as long as you keep them buying and you do it on a profitable basis, then anything is possible. And that formula hasn't changed and won't ever change. It's always a great time to start a business if you're prepared.
Information technology. Career pathways, let's get it. Information support and services, interactive media, network systems, and programming and software development. 4 career pathways, but 4 interactive, explosive, and ever-growing career paths in which you can take. Bam, wabam, the goosh, get this jotted down. Bachelor's. I'm sorry. What you need out of college? You need a bachelor's of computer science, about 4 to 5 years. Sometimes it spans to 8, depending on where you're at. Master's of computer science, if you plan on working your way up at an IBM, you have that. And a doctorate in computer science. You can achieve for something like that, but within this field, from what I've learned, certifications is law. Accredited schools, let's get it. University of Pennsylvania, Georgia Institute of Technology, California Institute of Technology, Yale University, Rutgers University, Duke University, New Jersey Institute of Technology, James Madison University, Bentley University, and Carnegie Mellon University. All right, job market. 30 plus careers. All right, 37 majors and 5 main industries. Now, within those 30 careers, folks, trade schools, especially for information technology, is huge within this. You land a trade school and you get one of those, one of the following that I listed as far as what you need. You'll be able to be in this type of career for a long time, because let me tell you something, everything is automated and they need you more than ever, which means it's also hyper competitive. Now, the general median here is pretty high. So when I say hyper competitive, that means the best of the best are working these. All right, we're talking $82,000. Now, does that mean that you're going to start off with that right out the gate? Sometimes no, but it's pretty likely for you to get that lump sum, just off the fact that very many people even last the process of getting it. So if you're one of those guys, you're gonna have a very, very nice life.
All right, you guys. Well, we have made it to the end of the video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please hit the subscribe button so you can find out about more careers and more clusters. This is Digital Don here. If you have any questions, please hit me up on my social medias, which is DigitalDon_CTE, and I will answer your questions as soon as I possibly can. There are 10 other clusters that you guys can choose. So please, if this one didn't interest you for some reason, you got 10 other ones to look at. So go look at those other clusters. Once you find the cluster that you like, then there will be a playlist of pretty much careers that you can choose from. Choose a career, jot down those stats, find out what you need to do, go and apply for that job, and be successful in life. I'm here for you guys. I am your digital professor and a professor in real life. So, yeah, this is Digital Diets Online, and I'm signing off. Thank you guys for tuning in. Much love and have a good day.